Hey guys, what's up? It's ItsSMOGONdevo here, back at it with some more Practice Cup videos. Practice Cup videos, I said, didn't I? Practice battle videos. We're still in Mirror Cup content, and I'm going to give you guys an update for the rest of the month shortly. Just want to get this content out to you before I head out to Montreal tomorrow. But yeah, today for now, we're still on the practice videos. You're going to see another tournament video shortly. We'll jump back into Twilight. Then we'll do my final Twilight tournament. Get that out to you. Try to upload maybe the freestyle. I'm not sure when I'll get that one out to you. Maybe in the back end of the month. Yeah, so I guess I'll talk to you guys about some of the trades I'm looking for if you guys are actually heading out to Safari Zone in Montreal. Again, I'm saying it in a few videos, but I'm going to be heading out tomorrow. Today is Wednesday for me, so I will be there Thursday. I'll be there in the evening. I think I get there around 4, says my train ticket is the estimated time. Then probably to my hotel around 5 latest. So yeah, if you guys are around, I will be free in the evening. If you guys want to meet up and, maybe do some Mewtwo's, I have no idea about anything in the area, so I'm definitely going to be open to do some raids. I still haven't gotten the shiny. But some things I'm looking for, speaking about shinies. If you guys have a shiny Cresselia, please reach out to me. I would love to mirror trade that to you. I think I have 2 left. I do have one under 1500, but it's only 1476. So if I can, I want to push for a slightly better one. Preferably, we aren't friends at all yet, so that we can hit the lowest floor there. Something else I'm looking for right now is a Latios with Dragon Breath and Dragon Claw for the Sinister Cup. I'm going to have a video on that soon, probably around the start of next month, or maybe the end of this month. But yes, I am looking for a Latios from Research to try to reroll. I only have one to reroll, so I would love to do that with you, but if you guys are looking for something else that's reasonable, I wouldn't mind trying to get another one from you as well. Again, preferably we are not friends currently so that we can have the lowest floor. So Cresselia, Latios, that might be all I'm looking for actually, yes. Yeah, I think I'm just looking for those two. It felt like more when I was thinking about it. But yeah, if you guys are in Montreal, please definitely let me know. I'm looking for some people to meet up with, do some raids. If you guys just want to hang out, I'd be open to that as well. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say. Let's go ahead and jump into these battles. We're going to be taking on a little bit of Boulder, a little bit of Tempest, and a little bit of Regionals. I pretty much just got my butt kicked in all of the Tempest videos, but let's go ahead and check it out. Alright, so here we go. We're going to be checking out some Boulder battles. I think these were pretty much the only Boulder Cup videos or practice videos or just practice battles at all that I did. I had a deep hate for a Boulder Cup, so I didn't even want to participate, but unfortunately my town chose it, so I had to still practice a little bit. I heard a lot of things about this specific trio, so I wanted to test it out for myself. So we go for that Swamp Mirror, and now I guess we got to find out who has the better IVs. I'm pretty sure, I'm like 90% sure that his Swampert is better than mine. He showed it to me a while ago, I just don't remember off the top of my head. So I go for the Hydro Cannon and we both switch out. I'm up a shield though, so this is a good matchup for me. He switches into Cham and I switch into Skarm. I'll take that first power-up punch, no problem. He's most likely going to burn this shield. Yes, he'll burn that shield trying to do some damage to my Skarmory. I have to burn a shield here or else I will not live the counters. I might survive a power-up punch, but I would not survive the counter damage. So I go straight away for a Sky Attack. I could have tried to farm up a bit of energy, but that would have put me in a pretty risky scenario. Oh yeah, just a heads up, this is going to be quite a long video. There's a ton of practice videos and it's comprised of just multiple cups. But yeah, Skarmory goes down there and I bring back in my own Swampert and launch another Hydro Cannon here. Nice amount of chip there, and I still have Cham in the back. I'm not going to shield. Goes Hydro Cannon, and now I'm just going to farm up some energy. He switches out into Skarmory. So now I definitely will be going for a Hydro Cannon. Do some nice chip to Skarm. And then I should switch to Metacham. Yep. And then try to push for a power-up punch. He manages to get to a Sky Attack right there. He's at the range though where a power-up punch plus a few counters should knock him out. So he should not get to a second Sky Attack, and then I can take a single Hydro Cannon from Swampert. Missing those bubbles kind of suck, but yes, he shouldn't get to that Sky Attack. So Medicham will knock out the Skarmory there. Brings back in Swampert, and I can get to a Power-Up Punch, but I decide to just feint down with counters. Take out the Swampert there. So jumping into the next one, I'm really just trying to mess around with other picks. I wanted to diverge as much as possible from the trio that you just saw. So I wanted to see how Bronzong performed, and I wanted to see how Torterra performed as well. Torterra is weird. I mean, it's supposed to be the Venusaur, it's supposed to be the Swampert answer. With that Razor Leaf damage, I mean, it really does chip down Swampert quite a lot. But every time I brought Torterra, I was always so disappointed by it. Because it's a ground type, it's actually taking neutral damage from Hydro Cannon as well. So if you switch into a Swampert that's got a nice amount of energy and isn't completely like low on HP, you could actually find yourself in quite a bad position as a Torterra. So its job that it's supposed to do, a Swampert killer, isn't even that reliable in my opinion. Like, you'll see me knocking out the Swampert here, but I mean, I don't know, I just don't really like Torterra. But I feel like you do have to have it just for that pressure on an opposing Swampert. So I'm not going to shield here. I'm going to let Torterra go down. It's already done its primary job. It goes for a Power Punch. I just want to kind of give my own Medicham an advantage, so if I can get the Stone Edge off, I'm looking good. But he manages to get to another Power Punch, so now I'm kind of forced to shield. And that's another thing about Razor Leaf, it just charges so slow. So I'll go for a Stone Edge. And then this should force the shield on Cham. So I go for some more Razor Leafs, Torterra goes down, and I can bring in my own Cham. If he goes Ice Punch, I'm in a little bit of a tricky situation. I'm gonna do a nice chunk. Yeah, and he goes for that Ice Punch, and it does a decent amount of damage there. He switches out and goes to Gallade. Oh boy. It's good that I went for Power Up Punch, but I don't know if an Ice Punch is going to be enough to KO at this range. And look at these. That was a misplay. I should have went for Ice Punch, but I suppose it really wouldn't have mattered. It still would not have been enough to KO. Yeah, so my Medi will go down. I do like Gallade though in this cup. So I'm still trying to test out Torterra, so I'm going to keep it alive here. And I had Bronzong. I guess the idea for it was really just give me an answer to Gallade, Skarm, and Medicham. And then I have two options to deal with Swampert as well. So I lead Torterra again into Medicham. I think Tort wins the 2-shield here. But you end up at a pretty huge shield deficit. So rather than actually letting that play out, I think what I would prefer to do in this situation is just chip. Allow Medicham to mess me up. I switch it out now, and I bring in Bronzong. He's low enough where I should be able to win if he shields, but he brings in that Swampert. I go for a Psyshock. Still gonna hurt Swampert, so it does have to shield. But now I can actually bring in Tort on Swampert later. I'm going to let this move connect. Yeah, the Hydro Cannon knocks out, or nearly knocks out the Bronzong, and a Mudshot will finish me. But now I can bring in Tort and just mess up the Swampert. But this is what I mean. Hydro Cannon is neutral, so it's still going to do a ton of damage. It knocks out my Tort. So what's the point of having a Torterra if it can't even reliably come in on a Swampert? And he brings out Gallade now, so this is pretty horrible for me. Even with shield, it's really tough to play out of this. I go right away for an Ice Punch. He does shield it. This is a really bad position for me. I don't think I can play my way out of this no matter what I do. I should have went for that Power Up Punch first, but I don't know, it probably didn't matter. Gallade doing what Gallade does. I'll shield, but for what? Leaf Blade comes out, and I think I have a Power Up Punch ready. This might actually be enough to KO. Miss some bubbles. If I didn't miss those bubbles, it probably would have KO'd. So we lose that match as well. Still trying to make that Torterra work. I thought that maybe Medicham might have been the issue for me, so I decided to leave it on the bench in favor of Skarmory, and we lead Skarm into his Medicham. So even if he burns these 2 shields on me, Bronzong will be able to do a nice amount of work on him, and Torterra might even be able to finish it off and prevent the Swampert from coming in. Take that first power-up punch, go for a Sky Attack. Still can't get all those bubbles. Of course he burns that first shield. He's going to take it to the 2 shield scenario. I have to shield this power up punch if I want to survive. Now I switch out into the Bronzong actually. Switches out into the Swampert. I guess I might try to push for the Flash Cannon. Yeah. If he doesn't shield, this is going to devastate his Swampert. Alright, he does go for that shield. I'm not going to burn a shield here though. I have that Tort and I still have Skarm. And it's very close to another Sky Attack. What's the point of having Tort? I think I can take 1 Hydro Cannon, yeah. But my gosh, it just does so much damage. But Razor Leaf does even more damage to that Swampert. Now he brings in Medicham. I do shield. I guess I think I can feint him down with Razor Leaves at this range. That would be pretty great. Oh, wow. Alright, Torterra actually manages to chip it down. Then he brings in Gallade. If I wasn't so low, this would be good for me. But this still isn't horrible. As long as I get to the Sky Attack, we're good. Ooh, this should be a Leaf Blade, and Skarmory may actually resist enough to survive. Yes, Skarmory manages to survive and get off the Sky Attack. So Torterra did manage to put in a little bit of work there, knocking out the Medicham and Swampert. That's the end of that one. We're going to move on to the next one here. Switch out Torterra, realizing it's definitely not the other members on the team. So we lead Skarm into Skarm, the match everybody wants to see here. So again, what I always like to do in these situations on the mirror is try to find an advantage. So what can I do here? We're both overcharging, so as long as I can find a way to get something out of this, like a shield advantage, energy, like anything. So I decide to bank all my energy and then I go into Bronzong. He brings in Swampert and I can definitely force a shield or 2 here. So I go for a Psyshock. And then we'll see how close I am to a second one. He shields, of course. Yeah, so I do shield it. I think I'm decently close to another Psyshock. If I undertap, oh, can I survive 1 more Hydro Cannon? Maybe. Yes, I just survived. And then I can get to a Psyshock. I should have undertapped though, but... And now Swampert has to make a decision to shield or not to shield. Doesn't shield. So let's see what he brings in. Brings in Medicham. And I have a decent amount of energy on my Skarm, so I can force a shield here. Get a shield, and then I have enough for 2 Sky Attacks, so I just unleash both. But that means his Skarmory likely has a second Sky Attack as well. Now my best play I think in this situation is to preserve my own shield to deal with his Skarmory with my Medicham. He switches out, and he does actually go straight away for Sky Attack. I gotta let Skarmory go down here. Then bring in my Medicham and try to... Oh man. He had 2 Sky Attacks ready. I don't think I can really play my way out of this then. I'd have to hit 2 power-up punches in time. So I go for this power-up punch. Miss those bubbles. Oh man, wow. He was probably right at that Sky Attack. Bring in the Cham, and then I'll just go for an Ice Punch knowing he has no shields. Should be enough to KO. There you go, we take that match. Bronzong's an interesting pick for Boulder for sure. Alright, so that's going to be the the Boulder Cup videos. Now we're going to move into some Tempest. I hadn't done any Tempest at this point, so I was still trying to make that double fly, double electric comp work, or at least a variation on it at first. But I also really wanted to test out Swampert. This is probably like the perfect place to try it. So we're going to lead with the Tropius, Magneton, that double legacy, and a Swampert in the back. Tempest always seems interesting to me. I'm surprised a lot of people didn't really pick it. I thought there'd be more interest. I really love Tropius. I'm excited to pick up a ton tomorrow at the Safari Zone. Then send some out to some other people, and maybe I can get a really good PvP one. Then I can have an Air Slash and a Razor Leaf Tropius whenever I want. I expect a Magnet Bomb, but I think I can take at least one. Yeah, Tropius is pretty tanky. The Razor Leaf Trop does pretty well versus Magneton, considering. So I go for this Leaf Blade here. Then I switch out, now that I have an advantage, right into a Magnet Bomb on my Swampert. This is neutral, I think. Oh no, it's resisted because of Skarmory's water type, if I remember correctly. So I managed to preserve both of my shields. He has ult, but this is okay. I don't mind being switch locked into this because I can lock his ult with my Magneton afterwards. I'm not going to shield at all. I'm just going to keep whittling away at Altoria though. With these Hydro Cannons. This would be an argument potentially for Sludge Wave. It's at least neutral on ult, although with Earthquake being gone, you would lose out on Lantern, and I think there's another matchup as well. Yeah, so now I have him locked in with Magneton. Go for a Magnet Bomb here. I could have farmed a bit more and then burnt a shield, but it's okay. We take out that Altoria. I still have my Tropius in the back. Now he brings in his own Magneton, which is pretty interesting. So I bring in Trop. And I shield, so it's a little silly. Goes to that Discharge. Brings in Lapras. So I should get to a Leaf Blade, or just barely. Oh man. If I got to that Leaf Blade, I would have had a ton of pressure on this Lapras. Instead, I'll go for a Magnet Bomb. He might have 2 serves by now. I farm up a little bit more, and I go for this Magnet Bomb again. I don't know why I'm not just going Discharge. Get that shield. This is really bad for me. And Magneton goes down. Lapras looks pretty cool. I didn't have a Skull Bash Lapras at this point. I only had my shiny Ice Beam one. So I'm going to try and use it this time after seeing that. I lead Lap with a Skarmory and Swampert in the back. I do have a Skull Bash Lapras now. Oh, that is one thing I forgot. I have about 10 or 15 Legacy Lapras, and I'm looking to swap all of them with somebody that I'm not friends with. From what I understand, there's 8 Sun of breakpoints for Lapras. So yeah, if you guys have any Skull Bash, or sorry, any Legacy Lapras for trade, please reach out to me while I'm in Montreal. I would love to swap a ton of these with you. So, recap, I'm looking for that Latios from Research, I'm looking for that Cresselia, shiny Cresselia, and Lapras. Lapras doesn't have to be shiny, in fact I prefer non-shiny Lapras to swap. Look at that Skull Bash though, it's pretty ridiculous once you get those boosts going. I feel like there's a sequence of moves for Lapras to beat every Pokemon in this game. Double Skull Bash into Surf, Sculf. Sculf? What is Sculf? Skull Bash, Surf into Skull Bash? I don't know, there's a ton of weird combinations Lapras has. I know I'm done at this point though. So I just wanted to chip down his Lapras, and then I'll let mine go down. He goes for his second Skull Bash and gets another ridiculous Def boost. I'm up 2 shields, but Surfs hurt me and Ice Shards hurt me. So I will shield this first one coming in. I don't quite remember what I go with. It's tricky to say what you do here. I mean, do you go straight for the Earthquake, or do you try to bait? It looks like I bait, because I really want this shield, and I think he'll do whatever he needs to keep that Lap alive. There you go. Now if I can get to this Earthquake, I think I can be okay not shielding and take 1 Surf, yeah, and get to an Earthquake on time. But I farmed up a little bit of extra energy. That's a pretty risky play, really greedy on my part, but it works out. I still get to this Earthquake. take out the Lapras, and now I'm almost at a Hydro Pump. He brings in his own Swampert, that's great. So this Hydro Cannon's going to do a nice amount of damage. And then mine will go down, unfortunately, but I have a Shield and Scarm in the back. I can take one Hydro Cannon, so as long as he's not at 3, I'll be okay. I shield the first one coming in. I think he's about maybe 2 or 3 air slashes away from being KO'd. Oh, he brings in Magneton! I totally forgot he had something in the back there. I wasn't even paying attention. This is done. Discharge just messes me up. I mean, I'll just go for a Flash Cannon just to humor him, I guess. He's kicking my butt in Tempest. I think he had a local Tempest at the time in Montreal. They were doing like every cup over a few days or something. So he was a lot better versed in Tempest than I was. So jumping into this next one, we go ahead and lead Swampert with Altoria and Lantern in the back. Still pretty similar to my double electric team. I guess if I had to go into Tempest, I would have just swapped out Magneton for Swampert and kept everything else the same, so like still keep that Salt Core. Skarmory, Altoria, Lapras, Tropius, plus a Lantern and a Swampert. So not quite double electric. I was surprised to find out Lantern actually does lose to Skull Bash Lapras. It may be somewhat IV dependent though, because it's a pretty close win. Alright, so let's see how he decides to actually lead. We're going to pull in that Swampert versus Altoria. Pretty horrible position for us to be in. I don't have to immediately switch. I could try to chip him down a bit first, but I figured I'd rather just bait out what he's trying to bring in. So I switched to Altoria. He does bring in Magneton, so this is both good and bad for me. Losing my own Altoria means I basically have nothing to deal with his ult. I mean, it might be possible to wear it down with Swampert and Lantern, but it already looks pretty bad for me. I'm going to play this match out, trying to lower both of our shields. I take that Magnet Bomb, but I can get another Sky Attack here. This should do a decent amount of damage, but he does block it. So now we're both at even shields here. I figured Altoria's done enough. Honestly, I probably should have tried not to burn any shields here so that I could come in and farm with Swampert. Although it might not have made any real difference, because now he's just going to bring back in that Altoria, and I'm pretty helpless actually. You'll see. I'm going to opt to try and take one of these Sky Attacks, and then just try to slowly whittle him down with Hydro Cannons. Earthquake would just be impossible, but with this I can at least get a little bit of chip off. And now I'm trying to switch to preserve that energy, knowing that I can take a Sky Attack no problem with Lantern. There was some delay there, so he might just go straight for the Dragon Balls. No, he actually does go for that Sky Attack. So I just want to whittle it down as much as I humanly can. Maybe get that shield if possible, so I'm going to shield here, just in case he tries to do anything cheeky. Goes for a Dragon Balls, yeah. So I might be able to farm him down a little more, but he's dangerously close to that Sky Attack. Oh, but luckily for me, he does not get to it. But he brings in the Lapras, and this is not great. I have to go for Thunderbolt here, and I will draw his shield. Now it's just a matter of whether or not I can reach a second Thunderbolt, and I'm actually able to, which is pretty great. Oh, miss all those bubbles though. But now I can bring in Swampert, and I'm trying to push for Earthquake, but I know I can't get to it, so I just go for a Hydro Cannon here. This is going to be really close. Oh, if I didn't miss those bubbles. Oh, he may have had a hint of lag, or he just had unfortunate timing on that surf. So Swamp goes down, and now Lantern's pushing. Oh, I did not expect that. That was a really hard position to work my way out of. But for this next game, we're going to go ahead with that Altoria lead and the Lapras and Lantern in the back. So let's see what he tries to do here with his lead. I really love Altoria here. I think I like it more than Skarmory just because of how diverse its coverage is with that Dragon Breath. Even things that are supposed to beat it, you can obviously put quite a hurt on them with that Dragon Breath. Really wish I had the Skull Bash Lapras at this point as well to mess around with it earlier. So I lead Alt into Tropius. I guess he thought I might stick with my Swampert. He brings in Lapras now, so I'm going to try and switch. I bring in Lantern, and he should win this matchup just because he has that energy advantage. A little bit of lag on both sides, it looks like. This is most likely a Skull Bash coming in, but I'm not going to shield. Oh, he actually goes for the Surf first. Interesting. Now I go for this Thunderbolt. I just want to draw a shield, and I know the next move coming out has to be a Skull Bash. There's no way he's not going to Skull Bash me this time. Do I shield? Wow, I let it connect. Wow. I guess looks like I was wrong twice. So he goes for a double Surf, which is pretty interesting. I may have been trying to just preserve shields here, so I didn't really care if it was Skull Bash or not. And he burns both, wow. Next move coming in is 100% Skull Bash. I mean, it's possible for me to reach another Thunderbolt, especially with this 2 shield advantage, so I do shield this. And as long as I can get to that Thunderbolt, I got this. I don't think he's at a Skull Bash by now. That should be a Surf, yeah. I think it's what, 7 or 8 Ice Shards to get to Skull Bash? I'd have to check that, but yeah, so I actually just managed to hang on and get to this Thunderbolt. Really happy I ended up putting up a second Lantern here. And now I can put in my own Lapras to farm down his ult. He's got to bring out Trope, and then I'll just switch out after I get a bit of energy. Oh, actually, I decided just to go with the Hail Mary Ice Beam and take out the Tropes. Ooh, that's deadly. And now I can farm down his Altoria. Just have to get to that Ice Beam. Worst case, I can try to mirror my own ult. Block that Sky Attack coming in. It looks like that's what I try to do. So now I know I have that in the bag, and I'm just being cheeky and going for a Dragon Pulse for no reason. Alright, so we'll take this match too. Yeah, and then Lapras had that Ice Beam in the bag. He couldn't come out of that one. So we're going to bring back Tropius this time around. We're going to go ahead with that Lap lead. Unfortunately, still not Skull Bash, and Trope and Lantern in the back. We lead into Steelix. I think this is a matchup in favor of Lapras, just because the Surfs tend to stack up. But I may be incorrect there. No, yeah, it looks like it's good for me. So I farm a little bit more energy here, and then I'm trying to go for a switch into Lantern. This should also be a matchup in his favor, especially given this immense energy lead. I feel like he's going Skull Bash now, after that last little match of trying to bait me too much. So I do block it, and then I go for my Thunderbolt. He will shield this, yep. He's most likely going to double Skull Bash at this point, just to try to get rid of my Lantern. I'm pretty sure I can take a Skull Bash at this range, so even if it's not, I decide not to shield because I don't want to burn my shields, and I know I can get to this Thunderbolt. So this is going to force him to either take a huge chunk from his Lapras or burn another shield, and I get that chunk. So with that chunk, I am not really scared of his Lapras anymore, and I feel like Lantern's definitely done its job, so I'm going to go ahead and let it go. Goes for a Surf there. Would have been horrible to shield that. Now I could go Tropius. Yeah, I go Tropius just to Razor Leaf him down, and there you go. Even with that defense boost, it's not enough to stop Trope. Brings in Steelix now. I've got Lap in the back, and Tropius is pretty bulky, so even if this is not a positive matchup, I know it can do a lot of hurt with those Leaf Blades and Razor Leaf damage adding up. So I go for this Leaf Blade here. If he shields, I'm happy. And I accidentally farmed up way too much energy at the start with my Lapras. He shields, so I can go straight away for a Surf that I had built up previously. I might even have 2 by now. Super effective damage, and I do have 2, but he switches out into Swampert. Unfortunate for him because I can just get another Surf off. Do a nice chip there. I still have a shield as well, so it's in his interest to try to push for an Earthquake. I think I'm going to shield the move regardless of what it is, just because I don't think I can get to that Hydro Cannon and an Earthquake. Yeah, he definitely can't push for both, so as long as I shield, I'm guaranteed to at least keep Lapras healthy. He goes straight for that Earthquake. And then we take it down, and I still have Trope in the back, so if I can get to the Surf, I'm looking really nice. If this is an Earthquake, it's definitely going to hurt though, but it will leave Steelix with no energy. Goes for the Crunch, and now I can get my Surf. I really missed using Lapras. I'm happy I got Skull Bash so I can at least have another excuse to use it in general Great League. Alright, so the next game we're going to go ahead with this Lantern lead, and Tropius and Lapras in the back. I wonder if my voice sounds different. I took like a 2 or 3 hour break because I recorded like 2 or 3 hours straight for the last videos, and it was really like tearing my throat. Doesn't matter, I guess. But yeah, we're gonna go with this Lantern lead. Honestly, I'm still just trying to figure out Tempest at this point. I have no idea how it works anymore. I don't even remember from way back. I think Tempest was my first Sylph tournament, and I was a very different player back then, so I don't remember anything from Tempest really. We lead into Lapras, and this should be in his favor, although it could come down to IVs on both of our ends, as far as I know. With the default sims, at least I think Lapras wins if you do the correct sequence with like 1 HP, so this is a close matchup no matter how you do it. Ideally as Lap, you want to land that Skull Bash to put Lantern in a hurting position like this and get that def boost. But I'm up a shield and he's not, and now I've gotten to my second Thunderbolt here. So now he has to make a decision. He'll probably take it, yeah, but it still hurts, man. So if I burn a shield, I should be able to beat the Lapras, but I guess I elect not to. Oh, he goes for a Surf, that's unfortunate. And it looks like I actually managed to win, wow, that's pretty impressive. He brings out Magneton, and that's not good for me. So now I have to bring out Tropius to win this. But these Razor Leafs are adding up even for a Magneton here. I know I can take one move, so I will just take this first Magnet Bomb and try my best to farm him down. I get this Leaf Blade, and now he has to make a crucial decision whether or not to keep that Magneton alive. Lapras actually has a pretty positive matchup too, but I wanted to save Lapras just in case he had a flyer in the back. I'm not going to shield this either. Ooh, that was close. Razor Leafs will chip him down pretty far. And now I'm definitely going to have to shield my Lapras, but I might be able to farm down this Magneton here. And just pray I have a good matchup in the back. Goes for the Magnet Bomb, and he switches out into Altoria, which is a little surprising. If I can get to this Ice Beam, I don't even have to burn his shield. Yeah, that's going to knock out the Altoria, and then Magneton will come back in very, very low. And I managed to knock it out with the Ice Shard damage there. So there you go, that's actually going to end the Tempest footage, and now we're going to get back into some regional content. I've got a few battles here with Twastel. He's going to show off that Skull Bash Lapras again, but in the regionals context. I don't quite remember the team I used here. It might have been that same team from way back with the Bronzong feature where I was deciding between Zong and Probo. But incidentally, I lead with the Zong and Azu and Skarmory in the back. Horrible position right away. I'm going to try to farm one Confusion just so I can use that energy later, and then I switch to Skarmory. I know I can take a foul play. I don't want to burn a shield this early and be down. He does switch out into Lapras. Not so good for me. I'm trying to self-piggy a little bit, but I wasn't counting properly, if I remember correctly, so here I'm just going to try to get some shields, gain an advantage, and I do get that shield there. So that's good enough for me. I'm going to rely on Azu in the back to be the Sableye later on. Let Skarm go down, bring back in that Bronzong. And now I'm just trying to build up to some side shocks over here. Lots of lag. Love to see that. Alright, so let's see what this Lapras can do. I can take a Surf. I can take a Skull Bash. I'm not burning a shield here. Does go for that Surf. It does more damage than I thought, to be honest, but I know I can take it. And now I'm over farming a little bit here. I decide to shield just to keep Zong as healthy as possible. And then I can go for this Psyshock. Hopefully draw his shield as well. I need to save at least one of my shields for the Azu in the back though. And I'm very close to that Flash Cannon, so I'm trying to do this Flash Cannon on the Sableye here, and I managed to undertap it. If this connects, it's gonna do big damage. Ooh. He might have been assuming I'm a Bulldoze Bronzong. But I like the Flash Cannon for the regional setting a bit more, just because of the slightly better Azu and Swampert matchups. At least it gives you an option to like dig your way out of them a bit easier, just because Flash Cannon hits so hard. So it looks like there was a little bit of lag there. I switched out into my song, but it looks like he was a little immobile there. I'm not quite sure what happened. I burn his final shield. Now I'm worried that he has a Flash Cannon after seeing what I just did, but I know he just goes for the Psyshock. And now I'm building up a little bit of energy, but I have to be careful, and he does get to a Psyshock. Oh wait, this is his last mon, so all I have to do is land this Hydro Pump, and we'll actually take this game. That lag probably swayed things a little bit in my favor, but I don't know, he might have only been able to get a couple more confusions in and it might not have mattered. Not entirely sure, these are just scrims, so I'm not too worried about it right now. But yeah, Zong is definitely threatening, and for this game we're going to go ahead with that Skarmory lead and Azu and Medicham in the back. We lead Skarm into Lapras, not the best position to be in for us. So I'm going to just try to gain some kind of an advantage in this bad lead. I say that a lot, I feel, but maybe I don't explain it properly. So what I mean is I try to do something like this. This is typically not what I do, but one thing you can do in a bad lead, if you can count the opponent's moves. So I counted the Ice Shards to the Surf, and then I swapped into Azu so that I could burn his energy and maintain a good matchup for myself. That's one thing you can do to try to gain advantages. But yeah, Skull Bash Lapras actually has a decent Azu matchup. Another thing you can do to try and come out of a bad lead with at least some kind of advantage, you can try to burn one of their shields and maintain your own. Now that's not always possible, it really just depends on the matchup. Like with Skarmory, you can pretty comfortably take a Surf, so it's possible for you to threaten them with like a Flash Cannon or a Sky Attack to fear them into shielding while you burn none, if you're not into counting or you don't want to go that way. Yeah, there's just a few ways you can try to come out of a bad lead, and that's all I mean when I say gain an advantage. I just want to turn that bad lead into something tangible I can use later on in the match. In this case, I use that switch out opportunity. And now here we are back to that Skarmory versus Lapras. I know I'll be KO'd from a Surf, but I have a nice amount of energy, so I want to shield it just so I can try to get off some damage here. And I do get that, and then I can switch out into Medicham. Ooh, he catches me though and switches up pretty quick, and now I'm in a pretty bad situation actually. Sableye versus Medicham. I'll just go for an Ice Punch to do some chip. He doesn't shield it. This is really bad for me actually. He's farming me, so I'm going to go for another Ice Punch. Hopefully get a shield, and he does shield it this time. Now he has to expend some of that energy though, so I'm going to allow Medicham to go down. I don't think I can really play my way out of this. I do have another Sky Attack, but I mean, it's kind of close, so I get one more Air Slash off, and then I go straight for my Sky Attack. He can't block it, which is good for me. This is going to be really close. Ooh, I managed to actually farm down the Lapras. Really close match there. So for this one, we're actually going to go ahead with the Melmetal, so it may be a slightly different team than I was working with before. I think Melmetal and Bronzong were on the roster. Huh. Interesting. But yeah, we lead with Melmetal, and this will be the final match of the video, and we keep Azu and Skarmory in the back. That shiny Melmetal flex, I think I only had one move on it at this point. It's since been 2 moves, but... oh yeah, he switches out into Sableye right away. So I'm going to go into Azu, because it's a very good matchup for me. Shadow Sneak or Foul Play, I don't particularly care. Power Gem would hurt a little bit, but Azu can still tank it pretty nicely. Farm up a little bit of extra energy and then go for the Play Rough. Sableye has to make a decision here. And he does decide to shield, which is interesting. I'm not within Power Gem range yet. And again, I'm really into preserving shields on a lot of my games, so I don't shield here, and he goes for a foul play, which turns around and bites him. And then I can go for another play rough here. Now I'm up a shield over him, and I'm on as well. He's going to be able to farm down Azu a little bit here, so I try to switch because I don't want Azu to get farmed. And he's using an air slash trope. If I had Rock Slide, I would have had it on the trope, and that would have been great. But I'm stuck with Thunderbolt right now, just because I didn't actually second move it at this point. You see, I don't really want to burn a shield here on Melmetal. I know I can take a Leaf Blade or an Aerial Ace. So I'm just going to pressure the Tropius a bit here with some Thunderbolts. I really do like Melmetal. I wish I used it earlier on. Look at that damage. Rock Slide still would have been a bit better, but this is what I have at the moment. And now I decide to shield because I think I can go for the KO on Tropius. Again, if I had Rock Slide, it would have been no problem. And I farm up a slight bit of extra energy there, just in case. Go for a Thunderbolt. And he does shield, which is interesting. I'm going to let him knock out my Melmetal. And I still have my switch not on cooldown, so I can bring in Skarmory, farm him down a bit. And then should I need to, I can actually switch into my Azu to take a hit, as long as I count the moves correctly. Okay, he brings in Lapras. It's 4 Ice Shards to a Surf, if I remember correctly. Right now I'm just trying to build up some energy, though I don't quite want to go that route yet. Goes for the Surf, and then I go for a Flash Cannon because I have it. Interesting technique there on the minigame. Do a ton of damage, and now if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, I know he's going to go for a Surf, and I switch out into Azu to take that Surf and preserve my Skarmory's HP. Azu goes down, and then Skarmory comes back in with that Sky Attack. A little bit of lag, but I should get to the Sky Attack. I panicked a bit because of the lag. I didn't know what was happening. I'm trying to do that like hold your finger thing on the side to hit all the bubbles, but I'm still not so great at that. Yeah, so Skarmory ends up taking out the Lapras, and we're going to call it good games there. Yeah, so that is the end of the video. Really cool switches on my part. I've known how to count for a while, but I've never really worked it into my gameplay as much as I should have. So from there, actually, about a month and a half ago or so, I started to slowly work it into my actual everyday playing, and finding a lot of success. And I definitely recommend you guys either check out some sims to know exactly what the energy gains are or distance to charge moves. I think it's Jay Devaney actually puts out a ton of like infographics. I'll try to link a few if I can, but he puts out a ton of infographics that tell you the counts for certain moves, which is really helpful. I know I send that to a lot of my friends actually to help them out for newer players to PvP, and it's really great. If you know how to count, it's going to elevate your gameplay so much more. And I don't want to spoil anything, but you will see that in my Boulder Cup tournament video, which is going to feature a lot of finesse and a lot of counting. But we'll deal with that when it comes. As for updates, again, I'm headed to Montreal tomorrow. I think I'm waking up in about 7 hours. So I'm sitting here just trying to get some voiceovers and do as much editing as I can on all of these videos. Ideally, I can finish them all tonight. If not, I'm going to work on a few on the train ride up. I think I have like 4 to 6 hours, somewhere in that range, for my total destination. So I should be able to get the rest of it done then, as long as they have chargers. But yeah, so this would be a longer video. Just wanted to give you guys some content to watch in between working through the tournaments. Next up, we are going to be covering the Boulder tournament, so look out for that. That one's going to be really cool. You're going to get to see a lot of that counting actually pay off. And after we cover the Boulder tournament, a few more Twilight Cup practice videos, and then we'll jump into the tournament, and that's going to wrap up my Mirror Cup coverage. After I do all that, at the end of my Twilight video, I'll give you guys a little update on what's happening for the month. So yeah, that's going to be it for me for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and drop a like, leave me a comment, follow me on Twitter. Definitely follow me on Twitter. You can reach me there in Discord pretty easily. I'm really active in both places. If you guys are coming to Safari Zone, let me know. I'd definitely like to meet a few of you. Do some raids. I'm still trying to get that shiny Mewtwo. And again, as per my... I don't remember if it was this video or the last one, but I'm looking for Legacy Lapras mirror trades, Shiny Crest mirror, and Research Latios trades as well. It's going to be it for me for now. I'm going to sign off. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay tuned for the Boulder Cup video. Take care.